our souls decided how we look.
Our souls?
Did you know that there are around 20 to 50 serial killers operating in the United States at any given moment?
Welcome back to Paranormal Highway. Today, we're checking out some more weird TikToks. But real quick, we just hit 100 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for all the support and joining the Highway Patrol. Alright, let's get started.
We thought the shade was going to be a little longer. Anyway, that's not it's exciting. It's going to be a bath, and not a blood bath, a steam bath. And I think it's a great show. I thought if there was a storm now, that it won't be, that would be the perfect thing for the collection.
Maybe Michelle Lammy meant to say that she was going to take a nice hot bath after a long day working, because Michelle Lammy be putting in mad work. She don't play, guys. She's about her business. I don't know why she would say such a thing. Maybe she didn't mean to say that. That's why they laugh, because it's a joke, guys. Remember, these people play around a lot. They know what we want to hear, and they know what to say to get us going and saying things about things that don't exist. And they're real good with art. As you can see, she has Rick Owens' face on her like bag or her shirt. But everything is okay here, guys. Don't worry about it. This is cool. This is fashion at its finest. When it comes to fashion, Michelle Lammy and Rick Owens got it on Smash. Shut up! It's not a game out here. But of course, guys, entertainment purposes only, because that's all this is entertainment. We just playing around, you know, pointing out things that people say knowing that they're joking around. And of course, I don't know anything.
They're just joking around. Yeah, right. That was a really weird thing to say. But then again, these rich people are the weirdest of the weird and like to play in our faces because they think we haven't caught on to them and don't know what they're actually doing.
We have a thunderstorm. We've got a lot of things happening today that could potentially limit our risk of severe weather later tonight. But if they don't change the atmosphere, then we're still primed for severe weather tonight. One of the limits.
What do you mean if they don't change the atmosphere? How would they do that? Why would they do that? They really control everything, huh? Even nature. I really believe that our entire reality is manufactured and nothing's real. That's just me, though.
What in the actual ritual?
Souls in pain.
Cross-stage design.
What's wrong with his eyes?
What The Weeknd does to his fans during his concerts is not normal, and the video you just watched from one of his shows is even worse than all the others. Fans have left saying they felt like their energy had been drained, and when you dig deeper, it's much more than just a concert. The same testimonies come back on every one of his tours. Many people describe the exact same thing, the feeling of a dark energy. They thought they were coming to see a concert, but they ended up witnessing something else. By the end, they felt drained from the inside. It happens every time. Just look at how many videos are posted about him after each of his concerts, and when you understand how the energy of a crowd works, it becomes even more terrifying. They gather tens of thousands of people in the same place, all synchronized, screaming and vibrating together. That collective tension is pure energy, and those who know how to capture it can do whatever they want with it. But the most disturbing part is that The Weeknd himself exposes this system in his own albums. In his album trilogy, he hid messages about everything he went through. He talks about sacrifice, selling your soul to become popular, and even contracts that forbid people from talking about God. He says word for word that he moves further away from his faith every day because of this industry. And he once said that if he wanted to start a cult, he could, that his fans would follow him anywhere. And after that, he went on to play a cult leader in his own series, The Idol, as if he was putting the truth in plain sight. We see The Weeknd exposing something serious in his music, yet he continues to practice the exact same thing he denounces in his concerts, and that is what makes it even darker than everything else.
What is with all these concerts being giant energy harvest events? And then people say they feel dark energy at his concerts. I kind of believe it with all those interesting stage design choices, but I didn't know he played a cult leader. Like, that's wild. Like, when did that happen? And why would he say that he could be a real one if he wanted to? Does he really believe he has that much power? What am I saying? These famous people can get away with anything, it seems. what language was on that tape, but I'm pretty sure that's police tape, so that's red flag number 1. Number 2 is, why is there so many Coke bottles in that house? And then they found one from 2004? Like, what was going on in that house? Was someone trying to collect all the name bottles Coke released?
Things you remember completely wrong. Number 1, Jif peanut butter. Millions swear their sandwiches were made with Jiffy, but that brand never existed. It's just Jif with 1 F. Number 2, Looney Tunes. Thousands remember this cartoon spelled Toons, but it has always been Tunes, because it originally started as a musical showcase. Number 3, Smokey Bear. Everyone grew up calling the wildfire prevention mascot Smokey the Bear. His official name has never included the word. Number 4, the Pringles and Monopoly Man. Millions vividly picture both of these iconic mascots wearing a fancy black monocle over their eye. In reality, neither of them has ever worn one. Number 5, in Britney Spears' famous Oops, I Did It Again music video. Millions of people distinctly remember her wearing a microphone headset, but she doesn't wear one at any point. Number 6, Fruit of the Loom. Thousands say the clothing logo featured a large brown cornucopia basket, but the design has only ever been a pile of loose fruit.
I know that sometimes I don't remember things exactly the way they were, but there's no way that everyone remembers all these things wrong. I remember all the things on that list clearly, and it's always been Jiffy, Mr. Monopoly had a monocle, and Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia, and no one will ever make me believe otherwise. Do you remember these two, or are they different for you?
There is a Titanic conspiracy theory that is absolutely unhinged. Get your tinfoil hats on. 3 of the wealthiest men in America boarded Titanic in April 1912. All 3 died. 20 months later, the United States Federal Reserve was signed into law, fundamentally restructuring the entire American banking system. Coincidence? Some say not. Let's get into it. There were a lot of VIPs on Titanic. Benjamin Guggenheim, the American mining magnate, Isidore and Ida Strauss, the owners of Macy's, and John Jacob Astor IV, who was worth $90 million in 1912. He was the wealthiest person on board by a significant margin. But the most notable VIP was actually someone who wasn't even there. JP Morgan, who had purchased White Star Line Shipping Company in 1902 for an eye-watering $32 million. He was scheduled to set sail on Titanic, but canceled last minute due to being sick. So between Astor, Strauss, and Guggenheim, 3 men representing an almost unimaginable concentration of old money, power, and influence went down with the ship, while JP Morgan was staying alive. Okay, so here's a conspiracy theory. Astor, Strauss, and Guggenheim were allegedly opposed to creating a central bank in America and had the power and influence to block it. The theory goes that their deaths conveniently cleared the path for the Federal Reserve to become law. But the thing is, the Federal Reserve didn't just appear out of thin air in 1913. Its framework was quietly drafted 2 years before Titanic ever set sail, at a now famous secret meeting on Jekyll Island, Georgia in November 1910. Senator Nelson Aldrich and representatives of America's most powerful banking houses arrived separately, used first names only, and told nobody about where they were going. The secrecy was intentional. They knew what they were building was controversial. So the Federal Reserve was already in motion well before Titanic left Southampton. On top of that, there is no documented evidence that Astor, Strauss, or Guggenheim were actively opposed to the Federal Reserve. There are no speeches, no letters, no recorded political opposition. This theory rests almost entirely on the fact that they were powerful, wealthy, and died right before the Federal Reserve passed. And that is quite the leap. What I will say is we can't prove that they would have opposed the Federal Reserve, but we can't prove that they wouldn't have either. Their deaths objectively removed 3 of the most powerful financial voices in America during a pivotal moment in its history. Is it a conspiracy? Almost certainly not in the way that it gets told online, but it's certainly strange and historically fascinating. And honestly, with Titanic, that feels exactly right.
So we can't prove they would have been against the reserve or for it, but how convenient they go down with that Titanic before the law was passed. It's almost as if someone, or maybe a group of people, wanted to get rid of them just in case there was any opposition for it. And JP staying alive is quite the coincidence. But again, this is all a theory and for entertainment purposes only. What do you think about this?
I don't think we were supposed to watch television and take on all the problems of the world. I don't think the body's equipped for that. You know, there should be just a day the TV just goes off. Maybe a week the TV just goes off. What's so bad about that? In time, we're going to find out that all of the media is a misconception. Anytime you place your life outside of yourself, you're going to suffer grave consequences.
Well, I'm not sure if they still do it, but I remember Nickelodeon having like the day of play thing where the channel would be off the entire day so kids would go outside and play. Funny how the news won't give the adults a break from all the chaos and destruction in the world. It's almost like they want everyone stressed out and miserable all the time.
You ever heard that theory how our souls decided how we look?
Our souls?
Yeah. There's a theory that we actually decide what we want to look like and we get into that body that we want to be.
What?
And the theory goes even deeper. The person you look like is actually the face of the person you loved in your past life.
Oh.
So
Well, my soul has horrible taste then. I remember hearing about this in another video, but I'm not sure if it's rooted in actual culture or not.
One of my kids asked my other son if he could have a drink of his Gatorade. And he said, no, there's something weird in it. So we went to examine what it is and found this. Looks like a blueberry with an umbilical cord. Blech.
I have no idea what that thing is, and nor do I want to find out. Guess I won't be drinking Gatorade anytime soon.
Alright, so I'm in Dollar Tree, and it got like a frozen food section. The non-name brand are $1.25, whereas the name brands are $5. The ingredients on the non-name brand, 2. The ingredients on these, endless.
So we're paying more money for more chemicals. That's literal insanity. You would think that the cheap ones would have more stuff in it to try to make them taste good because you wouldn't think they have quality ingredients. I guess just because something is more expensive doesn't always make it the better choice.
Like, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was with Usher.
Yeah, just hanging out with Usher? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was with him about, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and, yeah.
What was that like? Next thing you know, you have a manager? How did that happen?
He messaged me on my YouTube, and my mom kind of ignored it. After that, he looked in the background of my videos and seen that, like, where I lived and stuff. And kind of tracked me down. And it was kind of creepy, actually. And then my mom finally just wanted to get rid of him, so she called him back from an unknown number. Well, he told my mom a lot of like stuff about him and told him to check him out on Google and stuff. So.
Poor little Justin, he was just a kid. He looked and sounded so nervous talking about that. Like, that's so weird. Tracking him down by analyzing his YouTube videos to see where he lived. Like, that's beyond creepy. People in Hollywood do not care. Like, they'll go to extreme lengths to get what they want.
Do y'all think this shit is a game? I told y'all that this summer might be one of the hottest summers in human history. The NOAA already gave an official Super El Niño warning. And this ain't just for America. This is worldwide. And now you see what's happening in Europe. You got 1,000 people dead from a heat wave. Temperatures raising higher than they ever seen before. Mind you, they're not used to those type of weathers. They're used to everything being much cooler than it is right now. They're not even used to having air conditioners because it doesn't get that hot there. But you see what happened when the norm starts to shift? You got people fighting in Europe to get air conditioners. You heard what I just said? They are fighting at different stores to buy air conditioners. Mind you, go down a rabbit hole, you'll see people were trampled trying to fight over air conditioners. And the craziest part about all of this is the summer has just begun. This is only the beginning. 50 million people lost their life in 1877 because of an El Nino. And now you fast forward to 2026, and this is what's going on. This is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. I'm out.
I feel so bad for everyone in Europe right now. Like, they're used to having cooler summers over there, but now it's getting way too hot and they can't handle it, or they don't know how to handle it because this doesn't usually happen over there. And it's like, well, what's going on? Why is this happening? Which adds even more confusion because of the El Nino that's basically heating up the entire world.
Did you know that there are around 20 to 50 serial killers operating in the United States at any given moment? And a lot of these individuals have killed at the very least 2 to 3 people, but have a period of like cooling off. Probably so they don't get caught, or because they're satisfied for a little bit. they're trying to play house with someone. It doesn't really matter what the reason. And while it feels like true crime's at an all-time high because we're covering it so much, and like we have so much internet and documentaries coming out, and people want to know, and people want to be safe, and people want to be cautious, and people stop thinking, oh, it can't happen to me, it is actually decreased in the United States by around 85%, or at least since its peak in the 1980s, because of CCTV footage, everything is usually being recorded, DNA evidence testing, etc. However, did you know that we never caught the Zodiac killer? Never caught the motherfucker. In fact, he could be walking around right now. Also, a lot of serial killers, unfortunately, target people that they don't think will be missed as much. So, like, homeless people or people without, like, large social circles, or people that many people don't know very often, or people that when you go missing, no one's gonna know for a little while. Not only do they usually blend in seamlessly as like ordinary neighbors, they usually are like the beacons or the pillars of society and their communities. People that are really, really involved, such as like pastors, teachers, etc. People that everyone's like, oh, that guy? He would never be a suspect. Everybody loves him. Yeah, they want you to love them so that you can easily trust them in a dark alley.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Always park your car somewhere in the light, like under a lamppost.
Yeah,
parking lots, by the way. Don't ever allow someone in your home, especially if they're going to be there all alone, unless you've trusted them for years. And even at that point, serial killers will kill people that they know very easily. They kill people. They're serial killers. It's their good luck. Goodbye, the end. That's what I learned tonight.
I have no idea what was up with her soundboard, but this was information that I did not need to know, especially about the Zodiac killer, because what do you mean we never caught him? Oh, and don't worry guys, this kind of activity has decreased, not to zero, but you know enough so that maybe, hopefully, one of us don't become the next subject of a Dateline special. Well, like she said, good luck I guess. We reached the end of the road for today. Which one of those TikToks was the weirdest to you? Let me know below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep the high beams on. I'm your host, and I'll see you back on the Paranormal Highway very soon.